Welcome back to More Than AWA Ask Quill Anything, where we chat with innovative leaders building the blockchain industry. Today, we're taking a look at FIO, a project that is working on something mostly ignored by others. Today, we have Luke with us here. He is the Managing Director of FIO Foundation. Hello, Luke. Before we dive into FIO, could you give us a better introduction of yourself?
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this protocol, which I'm very passionate about. I've been in the blockchain space for about 7.5 years. I also ran a company called FoxyCart, which is an e-commerce shopping cart company. I was a developer. I've got a computer science background, and I helped build that company with my business partner for about 10 years. And in that process, we, in 2013, got excited about accepting cryptocurrency. As a shopping cart platform, we wanted our stores to accept cryptocurrency. And I think there's still a Bitcoin wiki entry about FoxyCart, early on. We're very excited. My first purchase of Bitcoin, I spent $50 and I got 2.5 Bitcoins. So it's $20 a piece when I first got involved in the ecosystem. And through that process, I got a little frustrated in that I was so excited about Bitcoin. It's going to change the world. It's going to be the most innovative thing in my lifetime. But it was really difficult to use. And a lot of our stores, we had thousands of stores, didn't want to add it to their checkout experience because they felt it was just too complicated. And then a couple years later, I got involved in the Steem. Actually, it's about 2016. I got involved in the Steem community. Very excited about a blockchain where you could just, blog and earn crypto. I was involved in the Steem Hive transition. So I've been a block producer on the Hive network as well. And I was very excited again about a crypto that's just easy to use and very, very interesting. I then got recruited to be a block producer with EOS, and I was very passionate. I almost joined the EOS New York team. I love those guys there, but eventually I joined the eosDAC team because I really believe in decentralized autonomous communities, and I like the idea of a DAC enabler, making it easy for people to build DACs and DAOs. So for 2 years, I've been involved with that community as well. And then in 2018, I sold my business so I could focus full-time on consulting in the cryptocurrency space. And that's how I ran into the FIO protocol. I was at a conference and I met the team that had built the first version of the protocol. And I was just super excited about it. I said, this is what is needed. I believe cryptocurrency mass adoption is coming. It's inevitable. And we have to make it easier for that to happen. And that's what the FIO protocol is doing. So I got involved as a consultant, eventually became the chief decentralization officer. And from there, they asked me if I would step up to be the managing director, which I did in December. So I've been doing that since.
Wow. So it sounds like FIO project has captured your heart and your attention. And could you tell us what is the problem that FIO is trying to solve that you strongly feel passionate about?
FIO is a really unique project in this space in that anyone who's ever used a blockchain or cryptocurrency today can immediately understand FIO and the FIO protocol and the value it brings. So right now, so there's a couple things. I believe that mass adoption of cryptocurrency is inevitable. It's the best ledger ever invented. It's the best form of money ever invented. It's unstoppable finance. And from that perspective, I also believe that it's probably not going to be just one token. It may not just be Bitcoin. I do believe there's room for Ethereum and EOS and all the other amazing chains. We may not have the thousands and thousands that we have today, but we will probably have at least hundreds or many dozens. And from that perspective, we're going to need a user experience that's simple enough for the masses, the billions of people coming to this ecosystem, to understand and use those different chains. So having a user experience that's consistent across all these different protocols, all these different cryptocurrencies, I believe is really important. And it's actually, in my perspective, one of the major hindrances to mass adoption. There are companies around the world that have blockchain departments and they're kind of studying this technology, but they're, in my opinion, waiting to implement it because it's just too hard to use. And they're waiting for some type of usability solution that they could actually introduce to their customers to be able to understand it and use it in a safe, fun, friendly, joyful way. And that's what I am excited about FIO. FIO basically provides a human readable address, such as Luke @Stokes. It also provides what we call FIO requests and FIO data. And this is a way to send and receive cryptocurrency transactions on any blockchain from your wallet in a really secure and decentralized and self-sovereign way. So you don't have to kind of worry like, okay, I got an email with this public address, but how do I really know it came from them? Was there a man in the middle attack? Or this QR code is not encrypted, so if I scan it, am I really sending it to the right person? I don't really know. Well, FIO request solves that problem as well. And I believe, again, that this is inevitable. It's just waiting for us to develop the solutions. And FIO is done in such a way that it's really kind of owned and operated and basically directed by the community of token holders. The FIO token ecosystem, this is why I've been involved in DACs and DAOs, is that we built FIO as a decentralized autonomous consortia. It's going to run as a DAC so that those in the ecosystem for FIO have a direct say in how the protocol evolves over time.
Yeah, so it sounds like FIO is trying to solve the payment situation, which, I mean, in the fiat world, it's pretty easy. Whatever your country you're in, you just use like one currency. But as we know in the blockchain industry, there's so many tokens and coins out there. And to the new people, it's very confusing and the experience is not very uniform. And it's great that FIO is working on this front. And what is your project progress so far? And why do you think you are the right team to tackle this problem?
That's a great question. And there are other wallet naming solutions, that just focus on human readable addresses. You've got ENS, Unstoppable Domains, Handshake, there's a lot of different solutions out there. But what's really important for what we're doing is that we don't believe that wallet naming alone is enough to solve the usability problems that the whole ecosystem experiences. And also a lot of those solutions are really complicated. Like the last time I tried to map my EOS address to my ENS name, it didn't even work. And it was, got these confusing errors, and I went to Twitter asking for support and I didn't really get much help. And so it's not really helping make things easier. With what we've done with FIO, you don't even need to have the token, first of all, to get yourself a FIO address. We've set up a address registration website where you can easily onboard to the FIO ecosystem and not even have to buy the FIO token immediately to do that. Now, nothing on a blockchain can be free, so FIO tokens are still being spent to register those addresses, and anyone who wanted to set up a similar registration site would still need the token to do so. But the idea being, it's very, very simple, very easy, and once you get yourself your FIO address, it actually has what's called bundled transactions. So there's bundled transactions, up to 100 transactions. Those are interactions with the blockchain that are essentially prepaid, and they're just kind of behind the scenes. So every time I create a FIO request, I accept or reject a FIO request. Every time I map a new address to my FIO name, all of those things are interactions on the blockchain, but I don't have to worry about any gas costs or any fees because I've kind of prepaid those when I got my FIO address. And it's a subscription. So there's an annual subscription. As long as this is providing value to you as a user, then you'll continue to renew it. Currently, the suggested price is around $2 a year for a FIO address and around $40 a year if you want a custom domain, such as I have like Stokes domain. And all those fees are set by the block producers. And the reason why I think this team is the right team to do this, and myself is probably a good choice at this stage to lead the nonprofit foundation, is that this team spent a long time and been working on this project for 2 years, evaluating all the different blockchain potential solutions that could provide the user experience that they wanted. And eosIO was the best one at the time, and still one of the leaders in the pack with its 500 millisecond transaction times and its ability to be very, very high performant, meaning we can actually serve the entire world through this technology stack. So that team did a deep dive into eosIO and has been doing a phenomenal job developing the technology. And myself, with my experience with DACs and DAOs, is ensuring that we're going to build this as a fully decentralized, community-driven project. So it's not going to be controlled by some central entity that is collecting fees as some rent seeker from everyone else, but instead, everyone who adds value in the ecosystem, and that includes wallets, exchanges, payment gateways, anyone who integrates the FIO protocol will be able to gain in the value of the usage of that protocol. As the network effect grows and we have more wallets and more exchanges, they directly get to benefit from the ecosystem.
And could you tell us what's the adoption so far and going forward on your roadmap? Is there going to be more tech added to the product, and what's going to happen in the immediate next steps, and where do you see FIO in 2 to 3 years from now?
Yes, the entire ecosystem is live today. We launched the chain in March, and we activated the chain in April of 2020. And we have, within days, we had a number of wallets that went live with their integration, which is very exciting. Today, we have fully integrated with FIO addresses, FIO requests, and FIO data, the Infinito wallet, the Edge wallet, the Guarda wallet, and the Midas protocol. We have a number of other wallets and exchanges that are integrating the protocol. We also have the BitMax exchange, which we're very excited about. Just this week announced their integration, so you can deposit and withdraw using a FIO address, which to us is a huge milestone for the industry, because then they can onboard people to the cryptocurrency ecosystem that could ultimately never even know about public addresses. They could start with a FIO-enabled wallet. They could use an exchange that has the FIO address enabled in the deposit and withdraw area, and that just greatly simplifies the entire experience, which we're very, very excited about. And as far as the protocol, we have so many exciting initiatives for how we can build from this protocol. It's kind of like in the early days, the internet was around for about 10 years prior to the HTTP protocol. And then once HTTP came out, you had a usability layer with the World Wide Web and web browsers, and you were able to have all these incredible new experiences that people couldn't even imagine at the time. You know, we're enjoying this video call via a link that we clicked, you know, in our browser to fire up this application, and there's all this amazing technology under the hood that makes it all happen. And I do believe that there's going to be some amazing ideas that we can't even imagine for how the FIO protocol will be used. Some of them that we've already kind of outlined and they're starting to spec out include account recovery. You could take your seed phrase, for example, split it up and send it to individuals as FIO requests in an encrypted way. And so you could recover your private key and private seed phrase, which is another interesting idea. Also, multi-signature routing. We see a lot of these DeFi scams today where you have a project that isn't under multi-sig, because multi-sig is really difficult and confusing depending on what chain you're using. And it results in, you know, one developer leaving with all the funds. So we do believe the future multi-sig is going to be really, really important. And if we could make it as simple as responding to a FIO request in order to approve a multi-signature transaction, we think that's going to be really, really powerful. We're very excited about that potential. We also have an application that's being built by our block producers. One of the teams there is building a subscription system, which is really exciting. It's basically a cron job that sends off a regular request for a payment. And so you can now do subscriptions with cryptocurrency, which is not something that any other service provider has been able to offer at this point, unless it's in a very centralized way, which we're excited that our everything we're doing is very decentralized. And so very excited about that. There's also the idea of like a verified FIO address. So you could attach your identity if you wanted to. It's optional, but the idea of a verified identity, so you can use that for in replacement of different KYC requirements and things of that nature. So very excited about that. There's also the idea that we could make FIO more of a meta protocol, meaning we could integrate with the other naming solutions such as ENS and unstoppable domains. You know, that is one that's got a little more complicated and will take a little more adjustments to the roadmap, but it's something we certainly want to explore as the foundation for inter-wallet operability. We are definitely all about making everything easier and simpler. And, you know, we do believe we have an amazing solution that has much more features, and it has a tokenomics model that incentivizes all the participants that's unique to what we're doing. But we also understand that there are other solutions out there that people are exploring, and I would personally like to embrace all of them, because the end result is we have to make cryptocurrency easier for everybody. And that's really what we're going for. So 2 to 3 years from now, I would expect, my hope would be, when people see public addresses, they'll kind of snicker and be like, that's the old archaic way of doing it. I don't want to see this big crazy hash. Like, are you some tech nerd, like with a neck beard? You're like, what's the deal here? This is ridiculous. And I would hope that it's as simple as PayPal or Venmo or any of the other, you know, WhatsApp or any of the other WeChat applications that are used, where it's just very, very easy to send and receive cryptocurrency, just like sending an email, you know, just, you know, make it very, very simple. And I do hope that within 2 to 3 years, more and more wallets and exchanges and payment gateways will adopt a protocol, will create this user experience, and eventually, and this is really my call to action for the entire community, is to demand it of the products and services that you use, and let them know, I am not comfortable sending cryptocurrency to a public address that is not attached to any specific entity that I trust. I really want to do this through a FIO request so that I can verify through cryptographic signatures that the person requesting funds when I want to do a deposit, let's say, or I want to buy something on an e-commerce site, I want to be able to know that this is actually the person I intend to interact with, and that's an encrypted request.
And as we know, pretty much all of the crypto projects or blockchain projects have their own token. And we know that for the FIO project, the token is FIO. And how does FIO token fit into this ecosystem, and why would non-developers want to hold FIO token?
Just like on any blockchain, nothing on a blockchain can be free. So there are a lot of, I personally take issue with this sometimes when marketers and salespeople say, oh, you can get a free account, it's free and it's free. It's not actually true. If that's the case, then it's not actually a blockchain. Because if a blockchain is permissionless and open, any interaction with that chain has to have a cost to prevent someone from basically destroying the blockchain. If I can just set up a script and add data to a blockchain, eventually the blockchain will be unusable. And so everything on the FIO platform does require the tokens for a fee. what's interesting about the bundle transaction concept I was talking about earlier is you can prepay those so you don't have the loss aversion of like, oh man, I have to pay fees every time I want to interact. But those fees are still needed in order to register a FIO address or a FIO domain. So those are the major features of FIO. There's also a fee related to token transfers, because token transfers actually create an account if the public address that you're transferring to doesn't have an account yet, which is a major improvement to how EOS.io generally works, where you kind of have to have the token and have an account prior to even being able to create an account. And it really makes onboarding very difficult. Whereas FIO designed it more like a UTXO platform where you can just send to any public address and under the hood, it'll automatically create an account. Now those accounts are, permanent to the chain. So we have to, of course, have a cost to that or else it would be an attack vector. So there's a demand for the token from that perspective. And then as we were talking about earlier as well, as we grow the protocol and we get more merchants and major Fortune 500 companies, companies around the world, they want to get into cryptocurrency and blockchain, but they don't want to, expose their users to a really confusing, frustrating, and frankly, like sometimes angering process where it makes them very upset because they lost their cryptocurrency. They sent it to the wrong address and now it's irrecoverable and they have no way to get it back. So we do think that there's going to be an amazing opportunity for major industries to adopt FIO and then of course require the FIO token in order to register all their users, have enough FIO tokens to pay for all the FIO requests that their business will require. But I want to be really clear as well that, this is not financial advice. I can't control the markets. We are an open protocol, an open source system. It's really going to be up to the markets as to what they believe about the future of cryptocurrency. And it's just like any token, if you're holding a token today that you're not using on a regular basis, most people do that for speculative reasons. They hold the token thinking, well, in the future, there might be some product or service that makes this utility value more. And so I want to be a participant in that network early on. And FIO is similar to that. But what's different is that as a pure utility token, you can use the token right now for something that directly benefits you right now. And a lot of these projects kind of promise some future use case. Someday we're going to disrupt, this market or that market. And, 7.5 years in the space, I've seen a lot of empty promises. Whereas what I like about FIO is that just now today, you can get the Infinito wallet, you can get the Edge wallet, you can send and receive FIO requests, you can do deposits on BitMax, and you get a value, a sense of security, and an ability to send FIO or send any cryptocurrency in a very, joyful, fun way that gives you confidence. And that I think is really valuable today. And that's again what the token is primarily for: registering those FIO addresses, registering your own custom domain. And if you're an influencer, for example, you can actually register addresses on behalf of your community, which is really nice as well. A lot of tokens, a lot of token systems don't have this pay on behalf of mechanism that FIO has. So just like you and I, we probably don't pay for our email provider. I don't pay for Gmail, but they provide that service for me and they pay for the infrastructure required for me to have that Gmail account. And it's very similar with FIO, that we think industries will set up their own custom domain, onboard their users with a FIO address, and pay for it on their behalf. So the user doesn't even have to pay for it, and they'll probably monetize that in other ways.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for being here. And I do share a vision that blockchain and crypto is here to stay, and FIO project is definitely going to help with mass adoption or accelerate mass adoption. And good luck with the project. Before we close, any remarks, any final comments for our viewers?
I just wanted to point out, like just this past week, a few days ago, actually, I tweeted about how someone accidentally deposited $1 million to a smart contract address that was incorrect. And I was just like, oh my goodness, if the wallet and the DeFi platform just did that through a FIO request, then there's no way this would have happened. It would have been impossible. So if you believe that as well, my encouragement to you as the community is please reach out to your favorite DeFi platforms, your favorite exchanges, your favorite wallets, your favorite service providers. Let them know about FIO protocol, send them to the website, show them the demo videos, and have them get themselves a FIO address and have them contact us. We'd love to chat with them. We'd love to incentivize them to integrate the protocol. This is our industry, and I think it is time that we all kind of rise up and become more professional, make it easier for everybody. So thank you again. I really appreciate your time, Peter. It's great to chat with you.
Thank you, Luke.